I was not looking for love. I just wanted a quiet life. My name is Beth. I clean houses to make money. I live alone in a small flat. I do not have many friends. My phone is always silent. Most days feel the same. But one day, I met someone. He came into my life like light in a dark room. I was cleaning a house near the lake. The family was away. I had the key. It was a big house with glass windows and white chairs. I was washing the floor when I saw a man outside the window. He was walking his dog. He waved at me. I opened the door. "Hello," he said. "Sorry to scare you. I just moved next door." I said, "Hi." He smiled. "I'm Jack." I told him my name. He looked around and said, "Nice place." I laughed a little. "It's not my house. I just clean." Jack looked kind. He had soft eyes and a warm voice. He smiled again and said, "You do a good job." I thanked him. His dog sat quietly next to him. "This is Milo," he said. "He is friendly." I bent down and touched Milo's head. He wagged his tail. After that day, I saw Jack often. He passed by when I was cleaning. He waved. Sometimes he stopped for a short talk. He asked how I was doing. He said the lake was nice at sunset. He said Milo loved to walk there. I started to like our small talks. I looked for him every time I worked near that house. One afternoon, he brought me a hot drink. "It's cold today," he said. "This will help." I took the cup. "Thank you," I said. The drink was warm. My hands felt better. Jack smiled. "Do you want to sit by the lake after work?" I said yes. That evening we sat on a bench near the water. The sky was pink. The air was cool. We talked about simple things. I told him I liked quiet nights. He said he liked walking in the early morning. He asked if I lived with someone. I said no. He said he lived alone too. From that day, we met more often. We walked by the lake. We sat on the grass. We talked about food and music. He told me he liked old songs. I told him I liked apple pie. He said, "Maybe one day I can bring you some." I laughed. I felt safe when I was with him. I felt happy. One evening he said, "You have a soft way." I like that. I looked away. "I don't talk much," I said. "That's okay," he said. "I talk too much. You help me stay quiet." I smiled. He always made me feel good. He started sending me short messages. "Good morning. How are you today? Sleep well." I waited for his texts. When I saw his name on my phone, my heart felt light. He came to see me even on rainy days. One time, I had a small cold. I didn't work that day. I stayed home. He came to my flat with soup. "It's not great," he said, "but it's hot." I smiled. No one brings me soup, I said. He said, now someone does. One night we sat by the lake and looked at the stars. He took my hand. You make my day better, he said. I said, you make mine better too. I felt warm inside. I thought I found something real. I thought I found love. He gave me a small red scarf one day. For cold mornings, he said. I wore it every day. When I saw myself in the mirror, I smiled. I told him, this is the first gift I got in a long time. He said, you deserve more. But slowly, things changed. He sent fewer messages. He didn't come to see me as often. When I asked, want to meet today? He said, I'm busy. When I asked, is something wrong? He said, no, just tired. I waited. I walked near the lake. I looked at the road. I looked at his house. But he didn't come. I sent him a message. Are you okay? He didn't answer. 2 days later, he sent one word. Sorry. Nothing more. I felt cold inside. I didn't know what to think. I told myself, he is busy. He will come back. But a week passed. Nothing. My heart was heavy. My hands felt cold even in the sun. I couldn't sleep well. I thought about our walks. I thought about his smile. I missed him. I missed how he looked at me. Then one morning, I saw him. He was on the other side of the street. He was walking with a woman. They looked happy. Milo walked between them. The woman held his arm. She smiled. He smiled back. My body froze. I could not move. He didn't see me. Or maybe he did, and turned his head. I stood there. I felt my chest hurt. I walked away fast. When I got home, I sat on my bed. I held the red scarf. I looked at the messages on my phone. I read them again. They felt like lies now. I wanted to cry, but no tears came. That night, he sent a message. Beth, I'm sorry. I didn't answer. The next day, he came to the house where I was working. He waited by the gate. I saw him. I didn't want to talk, but he looked at me. Can we talk? He asked. I walked over slowly. We stood near the tree. He said, I didn't want to hurt you. I liked you. I still like you. I asked, who is she? He looked down. My girlfriend. I felt like I could not breathe. I said, why did you say you liked me? He said, because I did. I asked, was it all a lie? He said, no. But I didn't know how to stop. I looked at him. My voice was low. You made me believe it was real. He said, I'm sorry. I said, You should go now." He stood for a second, then he turned and walked away. I watched him leave. I felt weak, but I stood still. I went back inside and cleaned the floor. I moved slowly. My eyes were dry, but my heart was not. That night I sat in my flat. I looked at the red scarf. I put it in a box. I did not want to see it again. I sat by the window. The street was quiet. The stars were out. But I did. I am sharing my story, hoping they reach someone. Are you there? Are you listening? If so, let me know. Drop a hello, or tell me where you're listening from. Just knowing you're here means everything. The next few days felt strange. I went to work. I cleaned each room. I smiled at the people who passed by. But inside, I felt empty. I did not talk much. I did not look at my phone. I did not want to see his name again. When I came home, I sat on the couch and stared at the wall. I ate toast for dinner. I went to bed early, but I could not sleep. My head was full of questions. Why did he come into my life? Why did he lie? Did he ever care? One morning, I stood in front of the mirror. My face looked tired. My eyes had no light. I touched my cheek and whispered, "What is wrong with me?" I gave my time. I gave my trust. And in the end, I was alone. Again. That thought hurt more than anything else. I was not angry. I was just sad. I wanted to believe in something good. But now, I felt small. I felt lost. I tried to forget him. I tried to fill my time. I cleaned more houses. I walked longer paths. I listened to music while I worked. But some songs made me stop. They reminded me of him. I changed the song and told myself, "Move on." But it was not easy. My heart was slow to heal. One evening, I went to the lake alone. I sat on the same bench where we once talked. The wind was cold. I pulled my jacket close. I looked at the water. It was still. I remembered his words. "You make my day better." I closed my eyes. I wanted to forget. I wanted to erase everything. But my heart still remembered every moment. 2 days later, I was cleaning a small house in town. The woman who lived there was old and kind. Her name was Margaret. She liked to talk. She said her husband died many years ago. She lived alone now. She said she had good days and bad days. "Sometimes I still wait for him to come home," she said with a sad smile. I looked at her, and I said, "I know that feeling." She looked at me with soft eyes. "Someone hurt you?" I nodded. She said, "Love can be sweet, but also sharp, like a rose with thorns." After I finished cleaning, she gave me tea. We sat in her kitchen. She told me stories from her past. I listened. Her voice was calm. She said, "Pain makes you quiet, but you will speak again. One day." I looked at her and felt a tear in my eye. "Thank you. I said. I don't talk to many people. She smiled. You can come any time. That night, I did not cry. I thought about her words. I thought about how much I let one person change the way I saw myself. Jack lied. Jack walked away. But I was still here. I was still breathing. I was still trying. Maybe I was not as weak as I thought. The next week, I took a different path home. I passed a small flower shop. The window was full of yellow and pink flowers. I stopped and looked. A woman inside waved at me. She came out and said, "Want to come in?" I said, "I'm just looking." She said, "Come. Smell something nice. It helps the heart." I smiled and stepped inside. The shop was warm. It smelled like spring. I walked around slowly. She said her name was Nora. She had short hair and bright eyes. She asked if I worked nearby. I told her I cleaned houses. She said, "That is hard work. You must be strong." I said, "Sometimes I don't feel strong." She said, "That's okay. We all feel weak sometimes." I looked at a small white flower. I touched its petals. "This one looks soft," I said. "It's called peace lily," she said. "It grows in quiet places." I bought that flower. It was small and simple, but it made my flat feel different. I placed it near the window. I looked at it every morning. It reminded me to take small steps, to feel something nice again. One Sunday, I walked to the park. The sun was out. Children played. People walked dogs. I sat on a bench and watched. A boy dropped his toy near my feet. I picked it up and gave it to him. He said, "Thank you." His mother smiled at me. "He drops things all the time," she said. I said, "It's okay. He's just learning." She asked if I had children. I said no. She said, "Maybe one day." I smiled. "Maybe." The next day, I saw Jack again. I was walking near the market. He was across the road. Alone this time. He saw me. He stopped. He did not smile. I looked at him for a second. Then I looked away. I kept walking. He did not follow. He did not call my name. I walked faster. My heart was beating, but I was not crying. I felt sad, but not broken. That night, I told myself, "You did well." Weeks passed. I worked. I read books from the library. I talked to Margaret once a week. I visited Nora's shop and bought small flowers. I started to feel stronger. I started to feel like myself again. One evening, I looked in the mirror. I saw the light in my eyes. It was small, but it was there. I whispered, "Welcome back." That night, I sat by the window and wrote a short list. Not a list of dreams, just a list of small things I wanted to do. Go to the lake with a book. Make soup and share it with someone. Buy new shoes. Smile at a stranger. I did not know when or how, but I wanted to try. I wanted to feel alive again. Love hurt me, but it also showed me that I could feel something deep. I could care. I could give. That is not weakness. That is love. Jack lied, but I did not lie. I was honest. I was kind. And that means something. One morning, I walked past a mirror in the street. I saw my reflection. I looked different, not because of clothes or hair, but because I stood tall. I walked with calm steps. I was not the same Beth. I was someone new, someone who had been hurt, but did not give up. I will not wait for someone to make me feel special. I will do it myself. I will choose peace. I will choose simple joys. I will learn to trust again, but slowly. I will not forget the past, but I will not live there. I am not looking for love anymore, but if it comes again, I will be ready. I will not give my heart quickly. I will watch. I will listen. I will speak. And if it feels true, I will open my heart again, but only for someone who walks beside me, not ahead or behind. Spring came. The days were longer. The sun felt warm again. Flowers started to bloom. I walked more and worked more. My feet were not so heavy. My chest did not hurt as much. The pain was still there, but softer now. I could breathe again. I saw Margaret one day. She smiled at me and said, "Your face looks brighter." I said, "I think I'm getting better." She gave me tea and we talked. I told her, "I feel like I'm learning how to be okay again." She said, "Time and kindness heal many things." I thanked her. Her words stayed with me. I also visited Nora's flower shop. It smelled sweet and fresh. She had new flowers. I bought a yellow one. She said, "This is for joy." I smiled and said, "Then I'll keep it near the door." At home, I cleaned my flat. I moved the chairs. I folded my clothes. I even bought 2 cups, one blue, one green. "One is for me," I said. "The other is for someone kind." One Sunday, I went to the park. I brought a book. The sun was soft. A man sat on the same bench. "Nice day," he said. I said, "Yes." He smiled. "I'm Mike." I said, "Beth." We did not say much, but I liked the quiet. He was calm. He did not speak too fast. He looked peaceful. The next time I went, he was there again. We talked about books. He liked to cook. I said I didn't cook much. He said, "You can learn. It's fun." I laughed. It felt easy with him. We sat for a long time. There was no rush. We met again, sometimes at the park, sometimes for coffee. Once he brought 2 small cakes. "One for you," he said. I smiled. I ate it slowly. I liked how simple it felt. He didn't ask about my past. He didn't tell me too much. It felt quiet, safe. One day I said, "Someone hurt me before." He looked at me and said, "I'm sorry." That was all. No big words, no questions. I liked that. I felt seen, but not pushed. Later, I gave him a flower from Nora's shop. "For your window," I said. He smiled. "That's the first gift I got in a long time," I said. "Now someone gives you something." We both laughed. I didn't fall in love. Not yet. But I began to trust again. Not fast. Just slowly. One kind word at a time. I told myself, this is new. This is gentle. And that's enough. I told Margaret. She smiled. You're not broken, and she said. You are just growing again. I nodded. I think so too. Mike asked me to dinner. I said, not yet. He said, okay, when you're ready. That night, I sat in my room and looked at my flowers. I looked at the soft yellow one by the door. I touched it and said, thank you for reminding me I can feel again. I didn't need someone to fix me. I fixed myself. I worked hard. I stayed kind. I kept walking, even when it was hard. I learned that real love is not fast or loud. It is patient. It listens. It respects. I do not know what will happen with Mike. Maybe we will stay friends. Maybe something more. But I know I am strong now. I do not need someone to make me feel whole. I already am. Jack broke my heart, but I did not break forever. I healed. I grew, and now I believe in myself again. I was not looking for love. I was just looking for peace. And slowly, I found it.